Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're very much aware that you're here for the last of the 3 master classes to be given by Leon Russianoff. Leon Russianoff's been giving these classes for quite a long time. I think this is well on to the 6th year. And he sort of has become one of the treasures of the 92nd Street Y and the School of Music, which is sponsoring these master classes. I think that Leon's wit and humor, along with his wonderful insight and ability to communicate musical ideas to his students, the winning is we really have the winning combination at the master teacher. We love Leon. His students love Leon. He has produced some of the most important clarinetists in the world today. His students have been a real treasure for our country. It's really a pleasure tonight to introduce Leon Russianoff to you, and I'm sure you're going to have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
I want to welcome all of you to this grand finale of these series of classes, dubiously called master classes. I mean, those of you who have been before know that I'm not a master, and that the people who play are not slaves. It's a class where we all try to learn from each other. None of you here are here to perform. You're here to play the best you can. You're here to make the kind of mistakes or the kind of, give me the kind of considerations that would help me jump in and point up factors that would be helpful, not only to you, the player, but to everybody in the audience. And so without wasting too much more time, we have a heavy program tonight. Okay? Don't be afraid. Miss like I do, rather than be careful. No, she just loves that tapering off all the time. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous, but it's not appropriate here. Can you play the very last beat? No, that's, you were right.
Last measure.
The last measure, right. Now so. I try to work with them to realize their clarinet ambitions. And in doing that, we work on standard things, skills, and things like that. Right. And beyond that, we try to sort of release them from all the neurotic things that we manage to accumulate in a lifetime, like all the things that could be defined as over-trying, being desperate to be successful, trying to be perfect, trying to do better than somebody else, trying to compete, worrying about other people thinking about you. I find that relating to people on those terms and discovering if they're really hung up in their attempt to find happiness, they're also going to be equally hung up in their attempt to find success in playing the clarinet. Let me do my bit. See, I'm whiting out a slur, I'm whiting out another slur, I'm whiting out a diminuendo, and I'm whiting out an accent. And all of a sudden, all I've got there is the notes. Okay? Now, you see those notes? Play it the way you feel it. Make believe you never saw, you don't know what a sign is. You're like Frank Sinatra. You don't know what a crescendo is. You only know how to sing. You understand? Okay? Now, you see what he did this time? He kept going to the end. He didn't do it, show what you did the first time. Now, just really overdo the marks, okay? I'll show you what's written. No, you didn't. There was an accent.
That's right.
Okay. Now you play it. Where is your objective? You start to see, where do you want to get to?
To the E.
Okay, get to the E. All right. Now there's another thing. I feel that staccato was probably, but this time I can't blame the marks. See, that staccato was too long and too melodic a staccato. It's a real staccato in it. Okay, son? Don't be lazy. he's so helpful. He does exactly what I'd like to point out. He made a mistake, and God forbid, not everybody should know it. So he went and said, oh. See, he might have gotten away with that mistake, but he said, no, I got to let everybody know because I got to expiate myself in the face of God. I've offended the almighty, play correctly gods. Look, when you make a mistake, you didn't know it. You don't know it. As I always suggest to my students, when you make a mistake in the orchestra, look at the second clarinet player. That's the only way to handle a mistake. You know what I mean? But everybody goes, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm stupid. You know, all kind of self-abuse because you made a mistake, which is, if you didn't make mistakes, all clarinet players would be out of business, son, you know, and I don't want you to put me out of business. So make mistakes, but don't make believe you didn't make a mistake. Now, a clarinet's a musical instrument. It just produces some sounds, but it does have the ability to project something of what you're feeling inside of yourself. And many people don't rely on their own feelings. They rely more on what they're told to do. Freedom is tough to handle. And many people don't want freedom and can't handle it. They'd rather be in the Army, where they can't make any mistakes because you're told what to do, and if you just listen, you do it. But I try to see if I can help a person find the ability to wrestle is the old word, to wrestle with freedom and to come up a winner, you know? It's like a solo. Okay, now this becomes a question of changing all the articulation. You know, again, if I take all the dots out, it's very hard to take out dots when it's between a note and a slow. You have to be very accurate. Otherwise, you take out everything. Okay, wow. Hey, good. All right, try. Here we go. At the letter H?
Yes.
And. So, see, here, dee-dee-um, loses the lightness. Dee-dee-um, is a dee-dee-um, ba-dum. Dee-dee-um, ba-dum. 1, 2. What I'll do is I'll demonstrate, again, the two ways of giving an audition. One, I'm giving the audition for somebody else's student who I don't want to make the audition, see. Okay, play. Now I'll show you my student. Hi, Ed. How have you been? Okay. We'll start over here. 1.
This doesn't work.
It'll work with you. Here we go. Freedom allows you to become as fine and as happy, basically, a person as you can be, and to bring happiness to a couple other people in your life and to spread it. So the clarinet to me is not just a tool to perform music with. Ready? 1, go! Okay, you see, this is an example of, do you mind if I insult you?
No, go ahead.
What do I do with this lady who insists on being self-conscious? Okay, you mind if I ask that? I'm not making her less self-conscious, of course. Okay, see what I do? I says, play, and she played the ass off. Let's go. Come on. Come on, start again. No dramatics, none of that bullshit. Come on. I don't give a crap. Play. Come on. Okay. Please say it.
Well, I'm not ready to play this.
What do you mean you're not ready to play it? Is she ready to play it?
No.
Who says she's not ready to play it? All right, you're in a...
No, it isn't.
Well, who asked you to be ready anyhow? You're not performing at Carnegie Hall. You're not performing. You're playing in front of a group of enemies, you know, who are all anxious to see you flop out. You know what I mean? What the hell do you care? I mean, I've been fighting this battle for how many years now? And we you know, all of a sudden, Mr. one of the deans of schools, I didn't know she could play. I said, damn well she could play. I know she can play, and you ought to be playing. Anyhow, I'm really glad that we had this little scene here, because it's one of the reasons I come home breathless sometimes, you know. And she is one of my most delightful people. She thrills me sometimes when she plays. She thrills everybody when she plays. She cannot satisfy herself. She has a disease called perfectionism, I think. I think that disease is, you cannot play unless you're perfect. Otherwise, she's not ready. What do you mean by you're not ready? You got a horn, you got a reed, you got a mouthpiece, you got an audience, and you got a clarinet, and you got the music. You're ready. Now, I'm a guy who's telling you, who spent his whole life not being ready. I'm telling you the truth, not being ready. And now I learned from again, my famous wife, I learned that you got to be ready for anything. She calls me, as a matter of fact, as a husband, she calls me ever ready. See? Are you going to play next? Deal with a guy like Todd, who's a very good player. We're talking about an opinion, and I should be saying everything that, in my view, or to me it appears, or it seems to me. In other words, I'm not asserting any edicts from on high. I'm giving you my opinion as to what I would like better. Can we start alone with Todd from the beginning? Alone. I want to hear it. See, alone I can really pick on him better, actually. Okay. Okay. Now, see, my first complaint is the diminuendo is good. It's too much. You see, it sounded like the resolution to the E, which is really important, that was almost gone. That's my thing. Just a little more sound on the E. All right, another thing. Remember I said that every time there's an eighth rest, it signals automatically to take a breath. You really don't need it. Again, it's because you think that's an eighth rest and that's another eighth rest that you feel you have enough time to take a breath. Really, if you think of the rest as a space, how much space is determined by you, not a full eighth exact rest. So I would suggest I would not breathe if you can till here. So you get a feeling of this phrase, which is really sub-phrases, phrase 1, phrase 2. There's several sub-phrases, and it feels like one, okay? And. Again, now that's again a question of taste. See, I feel you're diminuendo at a point where we're moving ahead. Try from the F. I'll show you. Now, see, again, you know what you do with that, Todd? So that this can be sort of, if it is helpful, you know, remember that anything I say, you can reject. You're responsible for your own playing, not me. I'm just making a suggestion on first meeting. I want you to know how nebulous it is, really. But I would sustain that line all the way there. Don't drop it down from F. In other words, instead of one phrase, another phrase, and another phrase, a long line. I'm a lover of the long line. I don't like to talk in short phrases, taking a breath between every minor thought, every ridiculous comment that I might have to make. I'd rather speak in a long, protracted phrase and bring my point clearly out and emphasize the important parts of what I have to say if I can discover any. Okay? So let's try to keep the phrase really long, okay? And here we go. Now, you play that way and try the other way, and you have to decide. And there's a million other ways, you know what I mean? What I want to do is that there's no way. I noticed that there are an awful lot of signs on here. Sing, there's a circle, there's an arrow, there's a breath attack, there's over here, says connect these, then race.